Younger women hate when older men do this. 8 habits that kill attraction, psychology tricks. Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. A lot of men believe younger women naturally prefer older men. And honestly, sometimes that's true. Not because of looks, not because of money, but because older men often carry things younger men are still building. Real life experience, calm under pressure, clear standards, emotional steadiness, a sense of direction. That combination can be magnetic, but here's what most people miss. Older men don't lose attraction because they're older. They lose it because of the way they show up in their age. I've watched men in their 40s, 50s, even 60s make the same quiet mistakes over and over. And the damage isn't loud, it's subtle. At first, she just feels a little off. Then she pulls back. Then the respect fades. And when respect disappears, attraction doesn't come back later. It usually never gets the chance to grow. That's the painful part, because most older men already have what it takes. They just leak it through bad habits. So no, this isn't about trying to look 25. It's not about flexing status, chasing trends, or learning cheesy tricks. It's about presence. It's about mindset. It's about how you carry yourself when nobody is applauding. In this video, we're breaking down 8 habits older men fall into. Habits that younger women quietly hate because they kill attraction and crush respect before the relationship even has a real foundation. If you want to understand female psychology from a calm, grounded, stoic perspective and avoid the behaviors that push people away without you realizing it, you're in the right place. Welcome to Stoicism Win. Let's begin. 1. Putting her on the pedestal. One of the fastest ways attraction quietly drains away, especially with a younger woman, is when you put her on a pedestal and step off your own without noticing. It usually starts innocently. You meet her. She carries herself with ease. She's attractive without trying too hard, calm, grounded, comfortable in her own skin, and suddenly your inner world shifts. Curiosity turns into performance. Presence turns into pressure. Your mind begins whispering rules you never agreed to. Don't mess this up. Don't say the wrong thing. Don't disagree. Don't be too much. So you soften your opinions. You nod when you don't fully agree. You filter your humor. You measure every sentence like it's a test. Slowly, politely, your real personality backs out of the room while a polished version takes its place. And here's the part most men miss. Admiration from below never creates desire. People don't lean towards someone who shrinks to make them feel tall. They lean towards someone who stands with them, eye to eye, grounded and self-respecting. The moment you elevate her above you, you quietly send a message that weighs more than any compliment. You matter more than I do. Even if you never say it out loud, she feels it. She feels it in your tone, in your posture, in your hesitation. Insecurity doesn't need volume to be noticed. It leaks through pauses, through over-agreeing, through the need to be liked. And pressure, no matter how gentle, suffocates attraction every time. Don't confuse politeness with presence. Don't confuse admiration with connection. Don't confuse restraint with confidence. Real confidence isn't loud. It isn't performative. It's calm. It's steady. It's the quiet belief that you belong in the room without asking permission. The shift happens when you normalize her. Not reduce her. Not dismiss her. Humanize her. She's not a symbol, not a prize, not a verdict on your worth. She's a person with doubts, habits, insecurities, boring mornings, and imperfect days, just like you. When you truly see that, your nervous system relaxes, your words slow down, your humor comes back, your opinions return. You stop trying to earn approval and start offering presence. That is where attraction actually lives. This is where many psychology tricks fail, because attraction isn't built by tactics alone. It's built by emotional congruence, by how aligned you are with yourself in the moment. Female psychology responds to this instinctively, long before logic enters the conversation. So be clear, be grounded, be honest. Speak without attaching your value to the outcome. When your self-respect isn't on the line, your energy changes. You listen better. You respond instead of react. That calm assurance creates space instead of pressure, and space is what allows curiosity, desire, and connection to grow naturally. This is why understanding how to fall in love starts with understanding how not to abandon yourself in the process. Love doesn't come from shrinking, it comes from showing up whole. If you're looking for psychology tricks that actually work, start here. Don't overinvest before there's investment back. Don't overexplain to be understood. Don't trade your spine for approval. Be curious without being cautious. Be expressive without being attached. Be warm without being needy. Female psychology is deeply attuned to emotional balance, not perfection, not flattery, not worship. When you hold your ground with kindness, when you disagree without defensiveness, when you enjoy the interaction without trying to control where it goes, you communicate something far more attractive than any rehearsed line. You communicate self-trust. And self-trust is magnetic at any age, especially to a younger woman who is already navigating attention, expectations, and noise. What stands out isn't intensity, it's ease, not chasing, but choosing, not proving, but being. This is where how to fall in love stops being a strategy and becomes a posture, a way of moving through the world where you don't elevate others by lowering yourself, where admiration doesn't cost you your voice, where connection grows because it feels light, mutual, and unforced. When you embody this, something subtle but powerful happens. Conversations flow, tension softens, attraction has room to breathe. The need for psychology tricks fades away because you're no longer trying to manufacture interest, you're allowing it. Grounded in an understanding of female psychology that respects both her humanity and your own, and that, quietly and consistently, is how real attraction begins. That is how meaningful love finds the space to take root. 2. Being insecure about your age. 2. Being insecure about your age often slips in quietly, disguised as a harmless moment. So, how old are you? It sounds casual, almost friendly, just a question floating in the air. But for many men, especially men who've lived a little, it lands like a spotlight snapping on without warning. You feel it immediately. Your shoulders tighten, your breath shortens, your voice shifts just enough to give you away. And that tiny pause, that brief hesitation, speaks louder than the number itself. Not because of what you say, but because of how you say it. The moment you hesitate, you frame your age as a problem. And when you treat something like a problem, other people instinctively follow your lead. Don't miss this. People don't react to your age. They react to your relationship with it. Here's the truth most men overlook. Age doesn't reduce attraction. Uncertainty does. Doubt does. Apologizing for who you are does. Your years represent experience. They represent perspective. They represent emotional control earned through real life, not theory. They represent lessons paid for in time, mistakes, recovery, and growth. That is value. But none of that reaches her if you act uncomfortable wearing it. A high-value man doesn't hide his timeline. He doesn't shrink it. He doesn't decorate it with excuses. He stands inside it calmly. That calm is felt instantly, and calm is attractive. Don't rush to justify yourself. Don't explain your past like it's a defense case. Don't soften your age with jokes meant to ease your own discomfort. And don't apologize for existing. You must understand this clearly. The apology isn't heard as humility. It's heard as hesitation. Say your age simply. Say it calmly. Say it the same way you would state your name. No dramatic pauses. No self-deprecating humor. No defensive tone. That is how you keep control of the frame without trying to control her reaction. Confidence is not pretending age doesn't matter. Confidence is showing you're at peace with it. When you are grounded, age becomes context, not a limitation. When you hesitate, it becomes a liability you created yourself. People take emotional cues from you faster than they take logical ones. If you stand comfortably in your reality, others relax into it too. If you tense up, they sense there's something to question. Be steady. Be direct. Be unbothered. That is masculine energy at its most natural. Not forced, not exaggerated. Simply settled. A man who owns his age sends a quiet message. I've been somewhere. I've seen things. I didn't rush my life, and I didn't freeze in it either. That message carries weight. Younger women don't respond to numbers on a calendar. They respond to emotional stability, clarity, and presence. When you stop fighting time, you start attracting curiosity. When you stop defending your age, you invite respect. This is how you attract women without chasing validation or approval. Don't confuse youth with appeal. Youth is energy. Experience is direction. A high-value man blends both by being fully at ease with where he stands. Masculine energy isn't about proving relevance. It's about not needing to. It's about knowing that your value isn't fragile and doesn't need constant explanation. When you hesitate over your age, you suggest that time has taken something from you. When you own it, you show that time has added something instead. You must also remember this. Attraction grows where there is emotional safety. Safety doesn't come from perfection. It comes from consistency. A man who is comfortable with his age feels predictable in the best way, steady, reliable, grounded. That steadiness is rare, and rarity is compelling. It signals that you know who you are and don't need to borrow identity from anyone younger or louder. Don't try to impress her with how young you feel. Be present in how grounded you are. Don't highlight the gap. Normalize it. When you treat your age like a non-issue, it becomes one. When you spotlight it with insecurity, it becomes the focus. This isn't about denying reality. It's about standing inside it without friction. That is the difference between tension and attraction. A high-value man understands that time is not an enemy. It's a credential. It's evidence. It's proof of endurance. When you speak your age without apology, you communicate self-trust. And self-trust is magnetic. That calm authority, that quiet certainty, is masculine energy in its most authentic form. It doesn't need volume, it doesn't need bravado, it needs alignment. So own your age fully, without commentary, without qualifiers. It's not something to overcome. It's something that works in your favor the moment you stop resisting it. When you do, you'll notice the shift. Conversations feel lighter. Eye contact lasts longer. Curiosity replaces caution. That is how you attract women naturally, not by pretending time hasn't passed, but by showing that time has shaped you well. If this hit home, don't let it stay passive. Make it personal. Drop a comment right now and write, "I own my age, I don't apologize for it." Then like this video, subscribe for more sharp psychology tricks, and remind yourself every day, confidence isn't hiding time, it's standing calmly inside it. 3. Leading with money or status. Leading with money or status is one of the fastest ways older men quietly lose attraction with younger women. The irony is that this habit usually comes from pride mixed with uncertainty, not arrogance. Many men between 35 and 70 have paid their dues, survived pressure, built careers, sacrificed comfort, and earned stability through discipline. When they step into new connections, they instinctively reach for what feels solid and provable. They talk about titles, businesses, property, achievements, travel, and milestones as if these facts explain who they are. But here is the hard truth learned through Old Stoic wisdom. Success does not create desire, it creates negotiation. The moment you present yourself as a provider first, you stop being experienced as a man and start being evaluated as an option. Attraction is not built on resumes, it is built on presence. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he said, "Do not waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." When success speaks before character, you unintentionally signal that your value needs verification. Younger women feel this immediately in modern life, where access to money, travel, and lifestyle is no longer rare. What stands out now is composure, restraint, grounded energy, and emotional steadiness. These are traits money cannot imitate. Stoicism win is not about rejecting success. It is about mastering when and how it shows itself. Success introduced too early turns connection into a transaction. Transactions do not create longing. They create expectations. Expectations kill mystery, and mystery is the oxygen of attraction. Men with an iron mind do not rush to prove anything. They let silence work. They let calm speak. They let their decisions reveal their standards over time. A woman is not drawn to what you own. She is drawn to how you move through the world, how you handle uncertainty, how you respond without reacting, how you remain centered without seeking approval. Seneca warned us clearly, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. Men who anchor their identity only in external success often panic when admiration does not appear immediately. So they overshare, they overexplain, they overinvest too early. This quietly signals insecurity, even when intentions are good. The correction is simple but demanding. Stop leading with outcomes. Start leading with being. A grounded man does not announce his worth. He allows it to be felt. When success appears later through consistency, values, and behavior, it adds depth instead of replacing substance. This matters deeply in modern dating, where attention is short and discernment is sharp. Younger women are not impressed by what you list. They are influenced by how they feel in your presence, the steadiness of your voice, the absence of urgency, the strength of your boundaries, the clarity of your direction. When your work supports who you are instead of standing in for it, attraction has room to grow without pressure. Pressure is the enemy of desire. The instruction is not to hide success, but to stop using it as an introduction. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is settled. Confidence does not chase validation. It allows time to reveal value. Epictetus expressed this old Stoic wisdom clearly. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Real strength does not rush to be understood. This mindset separates men who age into power from men who age into explanation. When you internalize this, you win quietly, you move differently, you speak less and mean more. You allow curiosity to come to you instead of forcing it. This is Stoicism win in action, not theory. The strongest position in any interaction is not needing to prove anything. It is knowing your worth exists even in silence, even without listing achievements, even without signaling status. This is how an iron mind is built, through restraint, through timing, through self-trust. When you live this way, you are no longer competing, you are choosing. You are no longer trying to impress. You are allowing alignment. That shift alone changes how others experience you. Attraction does not respond to effort. It responds to presence. Presence is the reward of a man who knows he is enough before the world agrees. 4. Acting like a mentor instead of a man. Here's the deeper truth most men never hear until it's too late, and if you're honest with yourself, you'll recognize it immediately. Acting like a mentor instead of a man quietly drains attraction faster than almost anything else, especially with younger women, and it usually begins with good intentions. You want to help. You want to protect her from mistakes you already made. You want to offer clarity, structure, direction. That impulse feels noble. It feels earned. But don't confuse experience with connection. The moment conversation turns into instruction, something subtle shifts. You start teaching instead of sharing, explaining instead of feeling, correcting instead of exploring. And without realizing it, you step out of the role of an equal and into the role of an instructor. That is where attraction starts to thin out. This is one of those psychology tricks that works against you when you don't see it coming. From the lens of female psychology, attraction isn't sparked by how much you know. It's sparked by how you make someone feel in your presence. When wisdom becomes your default posture, it turns into a shield, a safe place to hide. It keeps you from sitting in uncertainty. It keeps you from emotional exposure. It keeps things controlled. You talk at her, not with her. You fill the silence with insights, frameworks, lessons. You avoid tension. You avoid vulnerability. And yes, you may sound impressive. You may sound intelligent. You may even sound admirable. But something feels flat, like the air has been vacuumed out of the room. Information doesn't create connection. Energy does. Curiosity does. Playfulness does. Presence does. You become informative but not interesting, and attraction never grows where there is no spark. This is why younger women hate when older men do this, even if they can't always explain it. It feels heavy. It feels parental. It feels like being evaluated rather than experienced. And here's the hard line you must understand. Connection is not built through instruction, correction, or positioning yourself above someone. It's built through shared moments, emotional exchange, laughter, subtle tension, and the feeling of being met rather than managed. That is female psychology at work, whether you like it or not. This doesn't mean wisdom has no place. Don't misunderstand that. Wisdom is powerful. Experience is valuable, but only when it's invited, only when it's paired with warmth, only when it flows naturally from the moment instead of dominating it. When you lead only with authority, you kill polarity. When you remove playfulness, curiosity fades. When you replace presence with lectures, attraction quietly walks out the door. A grounded man doesn't need to explain himself to be respected. His calm already speaks. His stillness already communicates safety. His attention already creates gravity. That is one of the simplest psychology tricks most men overlook. Respect isn't demanded through teaching. It's earned through how you show up. And attraction grows when wisdom feels like seasoning, not the entire meal. Humor matters. Lightness matters. The ability to sit in silence matters. The ability to ask instead of tell matters. You must remember this. No one falls in love with a resume of lessons. They fall in love with how they feel when they are around you. This is how to fall in love without forcing it, without strategizing, without turning connection into a project. When you stop trying to shape someone and start experiencing them, everything changes. When you balance guidance with curiosity, knowledge with presence, strength with softness, interest begins to breathe again. From the perspective of female psychology, attraction thrives where there is emotional movement, not emotional instruction. So don't lecture, be present. Don't explain her life to her. Explore it with her. Don't hide behind wisdom. Use it sparingly like firelight, not floodlight. That is how to fall in love in a way that feels natural, alive, and mutual. That is where real interest begins. 5. Trying too hard to look young. This is one of the quiet habits that drains attraction without making a sound, and many men don't see it because the intention feels logical. The thinking goes like this: younger women prefer youth, so looking younger must be the solution. That idea spreads fast. So you copy what you see: forced slang that doesn't sit naturally on your tongue, trendy clothes that fight your body instead of working with it, hairstyles, shoes, and gestures borrowed from a generation that didn't live your life. And it shows, not loudly, not in a way anyone calls out, but clearly, because authenticity can't be imitated, no matter how carefully you study it. Trying to appear younger doesn't communicate confidence. It communicates discomfort with who you are right now. And people feel that tension instantly, even if they can't explain it. That is the part most men miss. Attraction isn't analytical, it's intuitive. When something feels off, it registers in the body before the mind catches up. That is why this habit quietly kills attraction instead of announcing itself. There is nothing wrong with caring about your appearance. Don't twist the message. Taking care of yourself matters. Grooming matters. Health matters. Presentation matters. A high-value man understands that how he shows up physically reflects how he lives internally. But there is a clear difference between refinement and disguise. Refinement sharpens what already exists. Disguise tries to replace it. When you dress as if time never passed, you're not honoring yourself. You're signaling resistance. You're saying, without words, I'm not comfortable standing where I am. That message lands fast. Younger women don't respond to the number of years you've lived nearly as much as they respond to how at ease you are with those years. Confidence doesn't come from pretending the clock stopped. It comes from standing comfortably in the time you've earned. That is masculine energy expressed cleanly and without effort. Dress sharp, not trendy. That is a rule worth remembering. Trends are designed for novelty, not longevity. They shift quickly and demand constant chasing. Style, on the other hand, is stable. It respects your frame, your posture, your presence. Clothes should work with your body, not argue with it. You must choose pieces that fit well, that move with you, that feel natural the moment you put them on. When something fits properly, you stop thinking about it. When something doesn't, it wears you instead of the other way around. That distraction shows up in how you stand, how you move, how you interact. And attraction notices everything. A man who dresses with intention, not imitation, signals self-trust. That is something women feel immediately, especially when they are deciding whether a man feels grounded or uncertain. Language matters just as much. Speak naturally. That is not a small detail. The moment you force slang or mannerisms that aren't yours, you create distance, not because of age, but because of inauthenticity. Words carry energy. When they don't belong to you, they land awkwardly. Conversations lose rhythm. Humor feels rehearsed instead of spontaneous. You may think you're sounding younger, but what you're actually doing is breaking alignment with yourself. A high-value man doesn't borrow a voice. He uses his own, calmly, clearly, without apology. That steadiness is part of what allows him to attract women without chasing their approval. Your experience is visible whether you like it or not. It shows in how you move through a room. It shows in how you listen without interrupting. It shows in how you respond instead of reacting. These are not liabilities. They are assets, but they only work when you stop trying to hide them. When you compete with youth, you lose the one advantage youth doesn't have: depth. Youth has energy, speed, novelty. Maturity has context, patience, and emotional steadiness. When you lean into that instead of running from it, something shifts internally. You feel grounded, you feel solid, you stop performing and start inhabiting yourself. And that grounded presence is far more attractive than any trend you could copy. This is where masculine energy becomes visible in a quiet but powerful way. Masculine energy isn't about proving anything. It's about occupying space comfortably. It's about being settled in your body and your choices. When you stop chasing youth, your posture changes, your eye contact changes, your pace changes. You're no longer trying to keep up. You're leading your own rhythm. That alone will attract women who are tired of instability and noise. And yes, younger women feel this too. Many of them are drawn not to age, but to the feeling of safety and certainty a man carries when he's no longer at war with himself. Maintain discipline in your habits. That matters more than any cosmetic trick. Sleep well, eat with intention, move your body consistently, stand tall, breathe deeply. These things shape how you carry yourself far more than a new jacket ever could. Discipline creates structure. Structure creates calm. Calm creates presence. Presence attracts women. This is not theory. It's pattern. Men who take care of their routines radiate reliability without saying a word. And reliability, when paired with warmth, is deeply attractive. Don't erase your years. Let them work for you. That is the shift that changes everything. When you stop apologizing for time and start respecting it, you move differently. You speak with fewer words and more weight. You listen more than you perform. You choose quality over novelty. That is the moment you stop trying to attract women and start allowing attraction to respond to you. A high-value man doesn't need to announce who he is. His alignment does it for him. His masculine energy isn't loud or forced. It's consistent. It's embodied. It's felt. If you want to attract women, especially younger women, understand this clearly. They are not looking for a man who pretends to be their age. They are responding to a man who is fully himself, someone who knows where he stands, someone who isn't trying to borrow youth, language, or identity, someone who respects his past without living in it and respects the present without chasing it. That balance is rare, and rarity creates attraction. So don't chase trends. Be refined. Don't mimic youth. Be grounded. Don't disguise yourself. Stand comfortably in who you are. You must understand that authenticity ages better than anything else you could wear. When you embody maturity instead of hiding from it, your presence deepens, your confidence stabilizes, and that steady, grounded masculine energy will attract women far more reliably than any attempt to look younger ever could. 6. Turning conversations into a resume. Many men lose attraction with younger women the moment a conversation quietly turns into a resume, because what feels like sharing experience often lands as self-promotion, and this mistake is rarely driven by ego, but by a misunderstanding of how connection actually forms. They talk about where they've been, what they've built, the titles they earned, the obstacles they overcame, the victories that shaped them, believing these stories explain their value. Yet attraction doesn't live in explanations, it lives in experience. And as the philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you are speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." A truth that matters even more in today's world, where information is cheap and attention is scarce. In modern life, everyone can Google success, everyone can list accomplishments, everyone can perform competence, but presence cannot be faked. And when a man fills every silence with proof of who he is, he unintentionally removes the space where attraction grows. Conversation is not a performance review. It is an exchange of energy. The more you speak about yourself, the less room there is for curiosity, mystery, and emotional connection. Because interest is not built by data points. It is built by how someone feels around you. Younger women, especially in a hyper-connected digital age, are flooded with stories, opinions, and noise. And what stands out is not another narrative of past wins, but the rare experience of being fully seen, fully heard, and fully met in the moment. This is where Old Stoic wisdom becomes practical, because Stoicism win is not about silence for silence's sake. It is about restraint, about choosing presence over projection. As Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. A simple rule that separates grounded men from anxious ones. A grounded man does not feel pressure to explain himself because he knows that value does not need narration. It needs consistency, calmness, and control. He listens without rehearsing his reply. He responds instead of performing. He allows pauses to exist without rushing to fill them. And in those pauses, attraction quietly deepens. In a world obsessed with broadcasting identity, the man with an iron mind understands that silence is not emptiness. It is confidence, and confidence is not loud. It is steady. It is felt in posture, in tone, in patience, in how he stays calm when the conversation slows, in how he makes the other person feel comfortable enough to open up. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And that principle applies directly here, because the more you try to convince someone of your worth, the more you suggest uncertainty, while the man who knows his worth allows it to be discovered naturally, over time, without forcing the moment. Modern dating punishes men who live in the past and rewards men who can inhabit the present, because attraction is not about who you were, it is about who you are being right now. And when you turn conversation into a resume, you anchor yourself to yesterday instead of meeting her today. Achievements matter, experience matters, success matters, but they do not need an introduction. They reveal themselves through how you think, how you decide, how you treat people, how you remain composed under pressure, and how you lead conversations without controlling them. This is where Old Stoic wisdom aligns perfectly with modern psychology, because Stoicism win is not about withdrawing from connection. It is about mastering yourself so connection becomes effortless, and mastery begins with restraint. When you stop trying to impress, you become impressive. When you stop chasing validation, you become validated. When you stop explaining your value, it becomes obvious. Younger women sense emotional pressure instantly, and nothing cools attraction faster than a man subtly asking to be admired through his stories, instead of allowing admiration to arise organically. The iron mind understands that attraction grows in the unseen layers, in tone over content, in curiosity over commentary, in listening over listing. This is not theory, this is lived experience refined through time. In practical terms, this means asking better questions, slowing your pace, letting her finish her thoughts, responding to emotion instead of facts, and staying rooted in the moment instead of reaching for past proof. It means recognizing that conversation is not about winning attention, but sharing space, not about control, but connection, not about display, but depth. As modern life accelerates and attention fragments, the man who can slow things down becomes rare, powerful, and memorable because he offers something most people cannot: calm presence, emotional steadiness, and authentic interest. Lao Tzu said, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened, and self-knowledge is what frees you from the need to perform, because when you know who you are, you do not rush to show it. This is how attraction survives age gaps, cultural shifts, and changing dating norms, because the fundamentals never change. People are drawn to those who make them feel seen, safe, and engaged, not evaluated, impressed, or overwhelmed. The man who lives by old Stoic wisdom, who embodies Stoicism who trains an iron mind, understands that real connection comes first. And when connection is real, everything else follows effortlessly: respect, interest, desire, and trust, without force, without speeches, without resumes, just presence, just calm authority, just the quiet confidence of a man who has nothing to prove and everything to offer. If this hit home, take action now. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp psychology and timeless wisdom, and prove you're serious about mastering attraction in the modern world. Then comment this sentence below to lock it in and engage the channel. Presence creates attraction. Resumes destroy it. 7. Neglecting your physical presence. 7. Neglecting your physical presence is one of those silent habits that slowly erodes attraction, and it does so without drama, without warning, without noise. Experience alone isn't enough. Years can give you wisdom, patience, emotional range, and a deeper understanding of life, but none of it lands if your presence doesn't carry it. People read you before you ever speak. That is not philosophy. That is psychology. The way you walk into a room, the pace of your steps, the way your shoulders sit, the way your clothes rest on your frame, the care you show in the small details. All of this speaks instantly, and it speaks loudly. You don't need to look young. Don't chase youth. That chase always backfires. Be disciplined instead. Discipline is timeless. Discipline is attractive at every age. It shows up in clean grooming, in clothes that fit your body rather than fight it, in shoes that look intentional, not forgotten. It shows in posture that signals calm control, not stiffness, not collapse. It shows in a body that quietly says, I still invest in myself. This isn't about vanity. That is a misunderstanding many men fall into. This is about respect. When you neglect your appearance, you send a message subtle but clear that you've stopped valuing yourself. And people respond to that energy whether they want to or not. Younger women feel it immediately because female psychology is highly sensitive to nonverbal cues. They may not articulate it, but they feel it in their body. This is one of those psychology tricks nature built into human perception. Self-respect is visible. It shows in how you maintain standards even when no one is watching. It shows in consistency, not extremes. Don't starve yourself. Don't punish yourself. Don't disappear into carelessness either. Be intentional. Intention changes everything. Intention creates gravity. You don't need perfection. You must have awareness. A man who takes care of himself doesn't ask for respect. He attracts it. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't posture. He doesn't try to prove anything. Others feel it the moment he enters the space, before he speaks, before he smiles, before he shares his story. That is how attraction actually works, and that is how female psychology responds long before logic gets involved. Your experience only becomes powerful when it is carried by a body and presence that reflect discipline. Otherwise, your wisdom stays trapped behind a weak signal. Don't assume your age speaks for you. It doesn't. Your presence does. Be the man whose posture says he has lived, learned, and stayed sharp. Be the man whose appearance communicates stability, clarity, and self-command. This matters deeply when it comes to how to fall in love later in life, because attraction does not retire, desire does not disappear. What disappears is effort, and effortlessness is not the same as neglect. Younger women don't dislike older men. They dislike the feeling of decline. They react to signals that suggest a man has stopped choosing himself. This is not judgment. This is biology meeting psychology. These are psychology tricks rooted in perception, not manipulation. When you honor your body, your grooming, your environment, you are sending a message that your inner world is ordered. That message creates safety. Safety creates attraction. Attraction creates curiosity. Curiosity opens doors. This is how to fall in love without chasing, without convincing, without performing. Don't underestimate how much your physical presence shapes first impressions and lasting ones. A relaxed but upright posture communicates confidence without words. Clean lines communicate clarity. Consistency communicates reliability. These things bypass conversation entirely. That is female psychology responding at a deep level. You don't need to be intense. You don't need to be flashy. You must be deliberate. Deliberateness is rare, and rarity attracts. Many men believe their stories, their success, their struggles will carry them. They won't if the signal is weak. Your presence is the signal. Your discipline is the amplifier. When you let yourself go, the world quietly steps back. When you take care of yourself, the world leans in, not dramatically, not loudly, subtly. Conversations last longer. Eye contact holds. Respect shows up without being requested. This is one of the most misunderstood psychology tricks because it feels too simple, yet it works every time. Take care of yourself, not to impress, not to compete, not to chase approval. Do it to honor the man you've become and the man you're still becoming. When you do, people respond differently. Attraction grows naturally. Trust forms faster. Connection feels lighter. This is how to fall in love in a way that feels grounded, calm, and real. Remember this: experience is only attractive when it is embodied. Presence is what carries it. Discipline is what makes it visible. And once those align, both psychology tricks and female psychology start working with you instead of against you, opening doors that never actually closed. You just stopped knocking with intention. 8. Over-explaining yourself and seeking approval. Over-explaining yourself and seeking approval is one of the fastest ways attraction quietly dies, and most men never realize it's happening because it feels polite, reasonable, even thoughtful. Yet to a younger woman it signals uncertainty rather than strength. When a man starts justifying why he works long hours, why he doesn't want children yet, why he prefers his routines, why he thinks differently, he is unconsciously asking for permission to exist as he is, and attraction never grows where permission is being requested. Confidence is calm. Confidence is quiet. Confidence does not plead its case. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that a man grounded in his values does not narrate his identity or explain his spine. He lives it, and others either align or fall away. In modern life, especially in age gap dynamics, younger women are constantly surrounded by men who overtalk, overshare, and emotionally dump their reasoning as if clarity equals attraction. But clarity without self-command feels like pressure, not presence. When you explain yourself too much, you trade mystery for justification, and mystery is where attraction breathes. This is not about being silent or cold. It is about being settled. A man with an iron mind does not rush to fill every pause, does not defend every choice, does not soften every edge of who he is to be more acceptable. He states, he decides, he moves forward. That's it. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, because real strength does not need applause to function. In the world of dating today, approval seeking often disguises itself as transparency. But transparency without boundaries becomes self-erosion. When you stand calmly in your life without explaining it, you communicate abundance. When you explain too much, you communicate negotiation. Attraction does not negotiate. It responds. The man who practices Stoicism, Win Energy, understands this deeply. He does not convince, he embodies. He does not persuade. He allows reality to speak for him. He does not chase understanding. He respects his own path first. Younger women don't lose interest because a man has strong opinions or a different timeline. They lose interest when he seems unsure of his right to have them. This is where old Stoic wisdom becomes practical power. Control what is yours, your actions, your standards, your direction, and release what is not: approval, validation, agreement. Repeat this until it becomes instinct. Build an iron mind that does not flinch when misunderstood. Let silence do its work. Let consistency do its work. Let your life answer the questions you no longer feel compelled to explain. This is Stoicism win in real time. This is how a man masters himself, masters attraction, and ultimately masters life. Not by saying more, but by standing firm, moving forward, and letting the world adjust. If this message hit home, take action right now. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp psychological insights, and engage with the channel so this wisdom sticks. Most importantly, comment this sentence below and lock it into your mindset. I don't explain my worth, I live it. Hey, my friend, glad you're still here. Before you go, remember this one thing. At the core of all these habits is a simple truth. Attraction isn't about trying harder. It's about standing firmly in who you are. No apologies, no performance, no proving. When you stop chasing approval, when you stop over-explaining, when you stop hiding insecurity behind effort, something powerful happens. Respect comes first, and attraction follows naturally. So don't ask yourself, what do I need to fix? Ask instead, what do I need to stop doing? That quiet confidence, calm, grounded, emotionally controlled, that's what truly stands out in a noisy world. If this message hit home, take a second to like the video and support the channel. Subscribe to Silent Stoic for more grounded, timeless insights, and comment below which habit stood out to you the most and why. Your engagement helps this message reach men who truly need it. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay silent. See you in the next video.